Think about the last time you were doom scrolling on your phone. Chances are you kept scrolling until something caught your eye, something that intrigued you and interrupted your doom scrolling pattern. Something that made you turn on your sound slowly, maybe, but still one bar at a time. And you've probably heard it before, 85% of people scroll without sound. And if you're an editor, you maybe have even used that as an excuse to not prioritize your sound. I know I did, but there's something that this statistic doesn't tell you. The moment someone sees something they actually want to watch, the first thing they do is reach for the volume. I've been making animations for about 12 years now, and for a long time sound was just the last thing I thought about. I'd finish an animation, I would feel good about it, I will slap some sound effects on it and then call it a day. And being honest with you, those videos felt cheap, not because the animation was bad, but something was off and I couldn't figure out what it was. Then I started paying attention to videos I actually liked watching, and I realized I wasn't just watching them, I was really feeling them. There was something happening in the audio that was doing a lot of heavy lifting and I didn't even notice. And the moment I figured out what that was, everything changed. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I learned about sound effects, and I'm going to show you exactly also how to apply it on your own work. And I'm going to cover three things. First, layering, how to build sound effects that actually feel like they're yours and not a stock library. Second, transitions, how to use audio to make your edits feel smooth and satisfying instead of choppy. And third, timing, how to make the moments that matter in your edit actually hit hard. Also stick around because the last one, timing, is the most understood and also the one that makes the biggest difference. Part 1, layering. Director Walter Murch, the editor of Apocalypse Now and The Godfather 2, once said that the best sound design is sound you don't notice until it's gone. What he meant was that a single flat sound effect will draw attention to itself, and a layered sound just exists in the scene. It stops being a sound effect and starts really being a part of the video. So let me ask you something. When you add a sound effect to your video, how many files are you dropping in? If the answer is below 5, then that's the problem. Now don't get me wrong, one sound is maybe exactly enough, but most of the times one sound is just fine, and it's also really forgettable. Because the thing is that in real life, nothing sounds like just one thing. A door slamming isn't just like one hit. It's the creak of the hinge, the vibration of the wall, maybe even a rattle something on a shelf, and your brain pieces all of that together into one coherent sound. Now, when you drop a single sound effect into your video, your viewer's brain does the same thing, and it notices the gap. And that's why it doesn't sound real, and it sounds like someone just threw it in. Now, the fix of this is really simple. You layer, so you take multiple sound effects and you combine them to build something that feels whole. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have a simple logo animation, something flies in from the bottom, one sound, a basic whoosh, like that's fine. But now I'm gonna add a low rumble underneath. That's already different, right? Now let's add a short, sharp, high-end click at the end. Now it's a sound and not a sound effect. It's something that feels like it belongs in that animation. And that's what layering does. It gives your audio a texture. Not only that, it also makes it really feel unique. How to actually do this? So you start with 3 layers as a framework: low, mid, and high. Your low layer gives weight, so these can be a bass or a rumble. Your mid layer is the main sound. This can be a whoosh or a hit. This is what people normally classify as the sound effect. And then the high layer are the details, so clicks or crackles. Now you don't always need all 3, but thinking in these 3 layers will stop you from reaching from one sound and wondering why it feels flat. Part 2. Transitions. This is where I see people make the most mistakes, and it's not because they're doing the wrong thing, it's because they're either doing nothing or overdoing it. Because most editors treat transitions just as a visual thing. You have a cut and or you just keep it like that, or you think, hey, maybe I need to add a transition to it, but you don't think about the sound. And a cut without audio support always will feel a bit abrupt. Think about how films handle this. Watch any well-edited movie, pay attention to what happens at a scene change. A lot of times the audio from the incoming scene already starts before you see it, or the audio from the outgoing scene carries into the new one. Now you might have already heard this, but this is called a J-cut and L-cut. It's a really old school editing technique and it's super powerful, but I still see 98% of the editors that don't use it. A J-cut is when the audio of the next scene starts before the visual cuts to it, so you hear what's coming before you see it, and that will create a bit of anticipation. An L-cut is then the opposite, of course. The visual cuts already to the new scene, but the audio from the previous one lingers for a moment, and this will create continuity. Now you don't need to do this on every cut, but on the big transitions, a scene change or a topic shift or before and after reveals, I think it would be nice to try it once. Now specifically for animation and motion graphics, there's another transition technique that's underused, and that's the sound bridge. And a sound bridge is when you use a single sound to carry across a visual transition. So the sound starts in one scene and completes in the next, and the edit happens somewhere in the middle of it. And one thing that is really important with transitions specifically is that you match the sound with the way weight of the movement. So a fast and light animation, you don't want a heavy slow whoosh, and a big dramatic reveal, you don't want a quick little whoosh. The audio and the visual need to match on how significant that moment is. And in my opinion, when there's a mismatch, it just feels wrong. You can't really tell why, but your viewers will probably feel it. Now, before we get into timing, I want to talk quickly about where I source sounds, because this was a huge bottleneck for me for a long time. I used to spend hours finding the right sound effect, like downloading 50 files to find 2 usable ones, and it really killed the momentum. Like by the time I found what I needed, I'd lost the flow of the edit and I got bored of it. Now, I've been using Epidemic Sound for a while now, and the main reason I stay is the library. Over 200,000 sound effects across 700 categories, and the quality is consistently high. And to be honest, that last part matters way more than just a number, because a huge library full of unusable low quality files doesn't help anyone. So what I actually already do is use their assistant so I can describe a bit what I want. So I have here an Apple style animation with a line going through a title. And as you can see, it will get me a few sound effects that I can use. Of course, you can also go through one of their featured playlists, which I also really like. And as you can see, 2,710 new sounds added last month. And what's also cool, they have a plugin for Premiere Pro, After Effects, Audition, DaVinci Resolve, so you can literally just drag and drop sound effects. Saves a huge amount of time. Link is in the description, and there's even a free trial to get started. And now let's go back to the good stuff. Part 3. Timing. If there's only one thing you take away from this video, then it's this one. Because everything I talked about before, layering, transitions, those will make your video feel smooth, but timing gets you the engagement. Because the mistake that most editors make isn't that their sound effects are bad, it's that they're misplaced. And here's what I mean. You felt that? It feels almost right, but with the emphasis on almost. Now that's the difference. So timing is the most important thing about sound effects. Before EQ, before layering, before any processing, the effect has to land on the exact right frame. 1 or 2 frames off and your brain flags it as wrong, even if you can't consciously identify why. So before you do anything else, zoom into that timeline and find where the sound actually hits. For example, I have this animation right here, and let's zoom in all the way. And the cool thing is that in Premiere, you can also change this to show audio time units, and this will make it even more accurate. Now let's say we want a pop sound effect right when this element pops up. I have a confirmation bubble sound, and I'm just gonna hit I and O, and I'm gonna drag this in, and this will be in our mid layer. And now, because we enabled that show audio waveform feature, we can just drag this sound effect so minimal that we just have way more control over this sound effect. To show you quickly the difference, let's disable it. And now let's move it. As you can see, it will snap into place every 1 frame. And now back to that other feature, as you can see, way more control. I can literally dial it down on the millisecond. And as you can see, that is super important. Now, another trick with timing is to press R on your keyboard, and then we can drag this sound effect out to make sure it's exactly how we want it. So for example, we can time it so this sound effect will be exactly the same length as our animation, and that will make it sound even better. Now this will adjust the pitch of the audio, and in this case I actually like that, but we can also right click, go to speed and duration, and turn on maintain audio pitch. That will make sure the pitch of the audio will stay the same. And speaking about pitch, I will show you another technique that I love using, and that is by going to the effects and adding a pitch effect to it. We can just use the pitch shifter, go to effect controls, and go to edit. Now here we have manual control over it, and then we can just pitch it however we want. And what I also use this for is to customize my sound effects. So let's say I want to reuse this sound effect. We can just copy and paste it over a few times, and normally this would sound horrible because we have 4 of the same sound effects and you will get really bored of that. But we can select the second one, change the semitones to 4. We can select the third one, change the semitones to 6. And once we play this back, let me quickly move them so they're a bit more close together. You will hear a ladder going up, and it will sound like 3 different sound effects. Now lastly, to help you out, I want to summarize this as a framework. So 3 questions you can ask yourself when you sound designing any section of a video. 1. Does this sound feel like mine, or does it feel like a standard library? Because if it feels like a library, just layer it, add a bit of lower end, add detail, and it will sound like a unique sound. 2, does this transition feel too abrupt? If it does, you can add a sound bridge, or you can try a J or L cut. And 3, does the sound effect actually land? Check the timing first and adjust the length of the sound effect or even pitch it. And those 3 questions will probably fix 90% of all your audio problems in most videos. And sound design is one of those things where the better it is, the less people will notice it, because you're not trying to make the audience think, wow, these are amazing sound effects. You're trying to make them feel the video and really drag them into it without them knowing why. And when you get it right, that's exactly what happens. The video will just feel better and viewers will also stay longer, engage more, and come back. If you want to try Epidemic Sound, the link is in the description. Again, there's a free trial. If this video was helpful, do drop a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Then thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.